Okay, we should be live. pretty Got a pretty interesting topic here today for everybody. Of course, the title of the video states The Rock turning heel and joins Bloodline. What happened the other night? How Smackdown ended off with The Rock coming out in his Versace vest. We don't even know it's Versace. We just know because that's what he used to wear back in the day. It could be any other brand, but it's an expensive vest. Let's just say that. Along with that, there's a lot of elements. I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about what happened exactly in that segment. I got a few notes here, so in that way I don't miss out anything. And if I sound a little hoarse, that's because I'm dealing with a little sinus issue here and some allergies. So I apologize ahead of time, folks. So how is everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. I think I want to do this on a regular occurrence leading into WrestleMania season, where I would sit down once a week and do a discussion with folks here on YouTube, the chat on Discord. Anybody's welcome to join in and pitch their opinion, what they think on what the creative team is leading to. And I want to say this, the way things are looking, I think that they're doing this on a week-to-week basis. The plan was for The Rock to come in and do a Roman and Reigns match. I said Roman and Reigns. Reigns and The Rock main event match at WrestleMania for this year. But they had to pivot, and this is an ongoing weekly thing now where they are creating story on a weekly basis. And I think it's going to work out. They got a pretty good team. They know what they're doing. And how I reacted to how the segment went off, now that I have fully absorbed it. Because, you know, if something happens instantaneously and you don't know how to really respond to, you know, all the things that just happened in the ring, it's because you're still dealing with a shock factor. You have to sit down and absorb all this information, and just do your thing, and then speak about the issue. Kind of like the whole Cody Rhodes situation, everybody blew up, and then they were like, okay, let's calm down. Let's just see what happens. And that that was only 5 days. But anyways, here we are, a couple of weeks into it, and we got The Rock joining the Bloodline. So this was already teased. This happened at the press conference. The Rock came out, slapped Cody Rhodes. You already know that story. And then he tweeted. He tweeted about a couple of times, and then, of course, everybody else was tweeting, saying like, oh, The Rock is fully embracing his heel role. And sure enough, Reigns came out and introduced The Rock as the newest member of the Bloodline. He didn't say that he was the new leader. He didn't say he was ahead of the table. He just simply said, hey, I'm introducing my big cousin as the newest member of the Bloodline. Now, that's a big difference. And that's actually a really good thing, which, I want to talk about this issue because I don't know what fans were complaining about. There are a few fans that are still complaining about this whole issue. So, fans got what they wanted. I want to say that we are very lucky. Don't you agree, Mikey? We got... Are you still there?
Yeah. I would say I like everything that's going on so far. I still got a little confusion about Seth Rollins, but in terms of SmackDown, we haven't gotten to it yet. But The Rock's performance was a little disappointing, honestly. But it's in terms of creative, this was best case scenario given what last 2 weeks ago where the sky was falling.
Mm-hmm.
So given since then everything, I can't necessarily complain.
Yeah. So, how many times did you watch that segment? Let me ask you this. Was it just that one time live on TV?
I gave it a few listens plus, Twitter it's been all over my TL, so only watched it twice the full go, but again, a few
So
clips I've watched over and over again.
So I watched it again. I watched it about 3 times, and I thought it was pretty decent. We can't complain as fans because number one, we got the main event that we wanted. Fans got the main event that they wanted. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, right? I mean, that's the
Uh-huh.
main thing. Second thing, we booed The Rock. We didn't want to cheer for The Rock because that's what he did. He's an asshole for coming in taking a main event spot, and we booed him. So now he's turning heel. He's given what the fans wanted, and that's the position that The Rock has put us in. He comes out. His star power is so big, like he's cutting a promo and he's walking slowly. He's got this Versace vest now. He's also wearing jewelry. It's like you don't know how to react to him because this is simply gold. It's amazing. It's the content that we're getting. It's unbelievable for 2024 if you think about it. We're getting all the heels combined of The Rock, where he's throwing shades of Nation of Domination, corporate Rock, Hollywood Rock, all of the heel roles that he has played in the past. We're getting all of that in this Rock now. He's not a Hollywood Rock. He's just all of those combined. The brains that he has had in the past, he's putting that to a good use right now. And I think that the promo was fantastic. They're not going to give us everything in one go.
Right.
He even said it in the ring. He was like, you guys are in for the ride, whether if you love it or hate it. I don't think he said love it or hate it, but he simply said this, and just enjoy the ride, folks. They're not going to give us anything. We got to tune in every week to week basis to find out what's going to happen. I'm sure there will be interruptions. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things happening. Go ahead. I'll let
Yeah,
you talk
my
for a minute.
problem. I think if I don't know if you got the same vibe. It was like when CM Punk's first promo when he returned after Survivor Series. The time it was definitely time constraints. You could tell he didn't get to milk the crowd as much as he normally does. You can maybe blame Roman Reigns for that because he has like a 10-minute entrance. Um, I felt that. Also, I don't necessarily like the Versace vest. I didn't. It's just he looks like I said it in my video. He looks like PC Principal with those glasses, and I I thought like
Excuse me.
the I thought the perfect Rock was the Rock at the press conference, like he had the slacks, but he got the muscle shirt on, muscles popping out, all that. I think the jewelry and the vest was like overkill.
Overkill? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it was too much. Like,
and that's how I felt. But we got to give this some time, right? We have
yeah,
to see how this plays out. Next time he comes out, he might be back to his something else that he's wearing. He doesn't necessarily have to wear the same thing, kind of like Ricky Stark shirts or whatever.
yeah.
He
Ricky,
can
he was
pull
Ricky Starks.
yeah, he can pull off something else. But I see what you're talking about. That's the same vibe that I got, that he was trying so hard to get the booze, right? But his star
Yeah,
power, again, he shines so hard that people were laughing, they were enjoying, they were cheering, and they were booing at the same time when they got insulted. He called them. There were a lot of insults, and I actually wrote it down here in my notes, and I'm going to mention some of them.
I'll tell you
Um,
which one got me.
I'm sure which one got you. Was it the herpes one?
No, no, I'm not sure if you wrote it down, but the 30 wives one, that
Oh
one
yeah.
got
Actually, I
me.
didn't even write that down. I didn't think that was a big deal. But insulting the crowd, calling them, hey, you guys are absolutely fantastic. We broke the attendance record for the biggest trailer park trash, and of course, the 30 wives and 50 inbred grandchildren,
Yeah,
or whatever
yeah,
that you
because I
mentioned.
forgot where they were, but it was like, oh, what you mean 30 wives? Oh, Utah Mormons. Okay, that's
Yeah.
that. believe me.
I
Uh,
mean,
and you could tell he was having fun too. You could tell
yeah.
he was having fun.
Oh
So
yeah, he is absolutely having a blast. He's working the crowd. That's what The Rock does. And if you watch this segment carefully, watch everybody's reaction. Not only The Rock. Rock is so professional. Remaining totally calm and just working the crowd. And here's
mhm.
Jimmy Uso. This this idiot cannot contain his laughter. Did you look at his face? He just
Dude is
continually kept
hilarious,
like
man.
looking down. He's a fucking teenager, dude.
His booking has been terrible, but he's made it worth it though. Like he is hilarious, man.
It's you know why? Because it's Jimmy Uso. That's what Jimmy Uso
Right,
does,
right.
and that's his character. He's the
Yeah,
fucking teenager. He's just, he comes out at the Royal Rumble. He's trying to be buddies with everybody, heel, face, whether if they're on a different show, and he gets smacked in the face by everybody.
right,
That's
right. Yeah.
just Jimmy Uso. So yeah, he's made it work. All right, let's not get off the track. Jimmy Uso is funny. We all know that. But he brought crazy side to the ring. He even mentioned saying that this is all your fault. Pointing at the crowd, saying that
Mhm.
you brought this specific side out of
But
me.
well, before you get too far, I want to rebuttal something you said. You
Mm-hmm.
said like he's like he kind of like lives with, or he didn't. I don't want to paraphrase you or get what you were saying wrong, but like how I seen him stumble a bit. Like he wasn't doing too great with those what chants though. I know it's gonna take some time for him because he hasn't been a heel in what 20 years.
Oh yeah,
So
it's been a very long time.
yeah, so it's gonna take some time, but he definitely tripped up on them heel those what chants. So that's something to watch out for.
That's the thing, every time, even through Vince's era, when The Rock has come back after his 2003 run, anytime he came back, he was a baby face. He was a face.
Right,
He came
right.
back, saved Mick Foley, saved anybody who's being attacked. He did so many things as a face. Of course, the whole John Cena thing, even against Punk. Punk was a heel, but even though, The Rock would get booed, but he still worked as a face.
That like
Um,
come to think of it, the only time I think he got like booed was in Boston in 2012. Like, well,
mm-hmm.
because Cena basically made him a heel that night. Like,
Yeah.
He brought a side of Cena out that was
You're
amazing. But
you're talking about when Cena pointed out saying that you write notes on your palm or your
no, it was
wrist.
I think it was the week after that because like one week Cena came out and interrupted Rock, and then another week the Rock came out and interrupted Cena.
I
So
got you.
I think that was the week Rock came out and interrupted him. But it's just
I was at
you
the
know,
um I
no,
was
you're
at
right.
the
It was that week. It was that week.
and I was in Atlanta right before Miami WrestleMania. I
Uh huh.
was in Atlanta and they had this promo ending Monday Night Raw and the go home show. So that was pretty cool too. But I don't remember exactly what they talked about. All I remember is that it was a very lengthy segment. Everybody was on their feet listening to The Rock and Cena face to face. But
Right.
anyways, yeah, The Rock has always worked face in the last 21 years or so. As far as
Yeah.
I can remember. And of course, then he started talking about the crybabies. He was like, and then he did his thing that he used to do when he was heel. He would mock. He was like, oh, like doing that cry face or the cry,
Yeah.
not
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
crying face, but he would mock people, talking about like how people are crybabies, right?
Yeah.
He was saying that you guys, um, did this. You guys had a perfect main event for this year's
Mhm.
Mania, but you gave it away, so it's your fault. And then he talked about like how he doesn't understand Cody's story, that he should have manned up. And then what? This is a part that I didn't get. I really think that he shouldn't have compared this because this is not a real sport. He was comparing wrestling to the real sports. And then on top of that, he totally forgot to mention Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble. This is
Right.
our sports, Rock. Come on now.
Right.
This isn't UFL or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
It's like it's because it's funny because he brought up the 49ers and the like that Super Bowl was literally a rematch. And just
Right.
like Cody Rhodes has the perfect rebuttal. Like you brought up the 49ers, but they earned their rematch because they won the championship. I earned my rematch because I won the Royal Rumble. I
Mm-hmm.
think we got to have a promo battle between Cody Rhodes and Rock.
Yes.
And honestly, I think Cody might get him, man. I
Um,
this Rock ain't. I don't know. I don't want to go too far off, but
is
that's
the
just
upcoming Monday Night Raw in Anaheim, California?
um. Let me see. Let me check.
I would say The Rock would come out and interrupt Cody Rhodes, but they're not even advertising The Rock, so I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that The Rock's not going to come out then if they're not advertising him.
yeah. I know they already like taped Smackdown for this week, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going for the next couple weeks. That was my worry. Like, how do you build a WrestleMania around these guys if they're not even here most of the time?
Right, right.
So,
Um,
um, it's
Dave
the hunt.
Meltzer, Dave Meltzer, got some heat for reporting wrong stuff on his Wrestling News Observer letter. I think
Hmm.
a fan linked him a video, and it was a video of The Rock pretty much training like 10 years ago. So, of course, he took it out of the letter. He was getting heat. I want to say that his sources hasn't been that reliable here lately. Um, so it's been kind of weird to see that. Go ahead.
Could I ask you, PJ? Because you were like, I didn't really know like the internet, the smart fan. Like I wouldn't classify myself as a quote unquote smart fan until
Mm-hmm.
about maybe 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Back then, when would you say you started like listening to dirt sheets or like the Dave Meltzers and stuff like that?
I would say early 2011, 2010, 2011s.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but no. No, it has to be earlier than that. I have known a website called NoDQ.com since 2008.
Wow. So like in terms of because I used to hear about the 5-star matches and the Kenny Omegas, the Young Bucks. I used to hear about all these things that I didn't necessarily have access to
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't pay for pay-per-views and
All,
stuff like that as a kid.
all I'm gonna
So
say is the smart marks started rolling in around Punk's time. As soon as
right.
the Punk thing happened, you started seeing a lot of toxic stuff. He
Yeah.
has enabled a lot of his fans to be vocal. Does that make sense? Like he's enabled the wrestling community to be coming out and say whatever you want.
And I would make the argument those same fans who like he built up and also built up him has also turned on him.
Yeah.
Um, and I asked that question because as far as I've known Dave Meltzer, he just seems like such a just a like a for lack of a better word, a tool. Like somebody I
Dave
can't take
Meltzer?
serious. Yeah, like has he always been this way or
Yes, I
like
think so. As far as I know.
so why do we put so much stock in
Why do
like
we
I
put so
don't
much
know.
faith in him? Why do we put so much
Yeah.
faith in CM Punk? I
I
mean, the
mean,
same guy.
I would
Yeah.
say CM Punk is someone who's like over time his stuff has aged like fine wine, but in terms
Hmm.
of like Dave Meltzer, when I think it's been recent discourse has been like Kurt Angle never even getting a 5-star match.
Right.
But then when I think about the person who gives out these 5-star matches
Hmm.
is Dave Meltzer, and it's just like why do we give this person? Because like when you say CM Punk. I can bring up many of things like CM Punk has said and done, and the
Well,
things that just has
he
aged well. So what? Like so what? It's just Dave Meltzer is just
here
I don't know.
recently, I just would not. I'm not putting Dave Meltzer as one of the most reliable people on the internet anymore. It's
Right.
because, I mean, the business is pretty stiff now. There's so many other people who are reliable sources other than Dave Meltzer itself, and not to mention he has been wrong in the last few days, like quite a lot. He didn't know exactly what was happening with the whole The Rock, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes thing.
Yeah.
And not to mention his old match rating thing. I just don't know, man. The way
I,
he rates, he's pretty. I don't know. I just don't
with,
like his match rating.
and I think you can again. I don't want to go too far off, but just think about the whole brawl out. the whole AEW situation, like yes, everybody in that plays a part, but I
Mm-hmm.
would make the argument that the biggest fault is Dave Meltzer, just the way he. Because I remember that time, like I wasn't necessarily too invested into the dirt sheets and stuff, but I remember just like articles after articles just going against CM Punk and very
Mm-hmm.
biased.
Very
So
biased.
so
That's the word I was looking for earlier.
yeah, and then when you think about the fact that the Young Bucks have a move called the Meltzer Driver and stuff, like I can't I
Yeah.
can't this dude has done more damage to wrestling in the last couple years than a lot of people will give him credit for, and I don't know. I don't know what's the proper way to go up. We gotta start holding this dude accountable, just like not even
Well,
just clowning him. It's just like, bro, like maybe we should
they,
just stop. Because
dude,
when I see Wrestling Observer on an article, or something, I just dismiss it. Honestly,
I don't
I
even
don't,
actually like listen or like watch as much, but I did have to. I wanted to click on that one video that he talked about, like how fans were hammering him down. They were posting comments even when he took out the part where he was talking about The Rock training, and the video was linked 10 years ago or so. Whenever he faced
yeah,
John Cena, yeah.
yeah.
But all right, let's get back to the segment because I don't want to fall out of the loop, and we can talk about this later.
Hmm.
So of course he insulted the crowd. He also called them crybaby bitches. That was something that I was like, oh, like bitches. Wow. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
kind of harsh. But at this point, you can tell that The Rock is trying. He is trying to get the booze. He's trying to get the heat. But then again, he is enjoying. He is in for the ride, as he mentioned. So now let's get on to the next topic. Besides his wardrobe, his look, and the way he came down, you can tell like he was walking slowly, demanding respect. That's what he wanted because he got booed. Um, so a lot of people are talking about how he pointed up when the segment was going off. The bloodline
hmm,
throwing up the one. He pointed out like a gun, and
yeah,
everybody was like, "That's not how you do it," or maybe he's trying to say he's gonna kill Roman, or all kinds of weird speculations. Here's what I'm gonna say. I think that he didn't really put a thought to it. He just threw up the one without
yeah,
thinking that his thumb was sticking out so far with his big ass hand. It looked like a damn L.
yeah,
I just think that he didn't really put a thought to it. He just went ahead and did the one, and and that's that. Besides that, he cryptically just when he was cutting the segment, he mentioned saying that pointing at Roman Reigns, he was like, "Hey, Cody's time is ending. He's gonna make sure everything in his power that Cody Rhodes walk out of WrestleMania as a loser."
yeah,
So he pointed as he's cutting this promo. He pointed at Roman, and everybody was making a big deal about this. They're even still making a big deal about this on the internet right now. Um, and then of course he also mentioned that the story for Roman Reigns and The Rock is just the beginning.
yeah.
So let's talk about that. I want to say where this is leading. Imagine this. God, I'm so nasally right now.
He good.
Backstage segment, Bloodline. We got Jimmy Uso. We got Solo Sikoa in the back. We got Paul Heyman standing behind the couch. And here's Roman Reigns and The Rock sharing the big same couch. And Rock props up his feet, being the
Mm.
big cuz, acting like he's the big boss, big, calling all the shots. So imagine for the next few weeks, he's going to create some sort of jealousy. He's going to create some sort of heat between the Roman Reigns and The Rock. Surely he is on Roman Reigns' side, but what's going to lead Roman Reigns to lose this match ultimately is going to be The Rock. Now, I'm not saying that The Rock is going to cost him the match on purpose, but I think it's going to be where it's going to happen on an accident. And then The Rock is going to turn on Roman Reigns. Not right away, but eventually, leading to their matchup, possibly at SummerSlam. I think The Rock is in for a long haul, because right now he is enjoying this moment, and the plan was, hey, for him to do this Roman Reigns versus The Rock match. But since fans turned on him, they really wanted this. They're still going to plan on doing this, but this is a route that they had to take because of the plans taking a different shape for WrestleMania because of Cody's story. So I think that Cody's story is going to end. If it doesn't end, here's a second scenario. And you probably know where I'm going with this. Let's say Cody Rhodes loses again. Roman Reigns wins. The Rock, finally, he turns his back to Roman Reigns. He goes, you're in that same spot. You're in that spot right now, being the champion because of me. You're in debt to me. So that's when things are going to shift once again. And then it's going to be Roman Reigns versus The Rock. So either ways, they can do this one way or another. They have a lot of time that they can do this. It's just, I hate it for The Rock because Rock is a busy man, right? He has to commit to so many other things. So many. I just don't know how this man does it. I mean, he's driving to Daytona. He did that earlier today. I mean, the dude is busy. And here I think that I'm busy. But now it's just that, he was preparing mentally, physically. He had all these rings set up everywhere, on all of these homes, wherever he's flying to. So in that way he can go practice and prepare his body to take bumps, so he can be ready for this matchup. But yeah, that's that. That's what I think. That's my opinion. But you can go ahead, Mike. You can talk. What do you think?
I think at this point, what they should do is have Roman turn on Rock, because the way, like, I don't know if you peeped it, Roman low key said what I said about Rock in his promos, like, oh, he's gonna tell jokes and da 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 da. He kind of like dismissed the way Rock handles business. And as if you've seen Roman's body language, it was kind of just like, all right, come on, get this over with, get your speech over with. He's just standing there with no emotion. Did you see it? He was kind of just standoffish, and
the only emotion that I saw was like when The Rock mentioned, like, Cody Rhodes got beat by, my cousin Roman Reigns, and he did this like he smacked him, backhanded him, back and forth. He whooped his ass just like that, That's the only thing that I saw his reaction to.
Did you see Paul Heyman's reaction as you were saying, like when The Rock was pointing at Roman when he said, "I'm gonna make sure you lose or not," Did you see Paul Heyman's reaction?
I didn't. Was there a reaction?
He looked at Roman like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hold on.
Like,
I'm gonna watch this. I got the video pulled up right now. Hang on.
And also Pete Solo. I know Solo always kind of looks confused, but even Solo was like, are we hearing the same thing?
That's his story. You can spot. That's what they do.
I'm watching right now.
Okay.
He ended story.
What
did the Utah Jazz do? That's what they did. World Pride baby bitch. The Rock is going to do everything in his power to make sure that you walk out of WrestleMania what you are, which is a loser. Everything in his power to make sure that happens. Cody, your story is just ending. Our story is just beginning. The Bloodline, the most powerful, dominant duo in sports and entertainment, and of course in the WWE.
I don't see anything.
Am I sure? I'm gonna rewatch it again. I swear,
I don't see. No,
it was like Paul looked at Roman as
no.
I'll rewatch it.
Just rewatch it. I didn't think that he was reacting like anything differently,
But I feel like it's one of those deals. Like, I remember when Sammy was coming up and like Roman was ready to get rid of Sammy out of the Bloodline. And Paul told Roman, like, it's better to have him in the Bloodline than to have him out. So I think maybe like if they really want to get nuanced with it and go deep in detail, they have Rock just to have him on their good side and keep him around. But
You
I
know
just don't
what?
trust him to have that level of nuance anymore with this bloodline story.
They can easily take this bloodline story for another year. Easily. This new bloodline story with The Rock being in the picture.
Do you think do you think the bloodline story needs the title though?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And
So
that's
when you
when it
say
gets
that,
better.
you saying without the title.
How about the title comes back in the picture once again somehow?
I don't know, man. I just I think the bloodline story. I think the head of the table can be looked at how the Undertaker's streak was obviously not anybody can compete for the head of the table, but
you do understand that like guys like Triple H has been multiple times champion, like 15 times. The Cody Rhodes can win again. Just because he loses that one time doesn't mean that he's not going to be a champion again.
So you're saying Cody? So you saying Cody wins at Mania and then loses again, or you saying he just loses? Period.
Sure, it is perfectly fine in this business to drop a title to the person that you won against or lost against the WrestleMania before.
I think that kind of just
that's not the point that I'm getting at. Title or not, what I would love to see is a totally like a huge swerve. For some reason, I want Roman Reigns to come out as the babyface at the end of Bloodline story. When the Bloodline is ended, when he is betrayed by everybody, that's when he becomes the face. For some reason, I would love to see that. The Rock being in this picture and taking control of the Bloodline, calling big shots and everything, creating a jealousy. Think about it. Roman Reigns, he has been the bully. He has, done all these bad things to his cousin Jey Uso. I mean, for gosh sakes, they've had 3 matches. The whole thing started off with Jey Uso. Bring Jey Uso in the picture. Have a tag match, or like the biggest tag match that they can have that involves Jey Uso, Solo Sikoa, Roman Reigns, and The Rock. Something like that. And, have this mix combination where you can have this amazing swerve storyline. Build it up towards WrestleMania. They can do this, man. Bloodline is very, very deep. Especially now that The Rock is back. I just hope that he's back in for the long haul. Because if he is, he doesn't have to wrestle every pay-per-view or whatever. Just sign up for like 3 or 4 matches. Which now he is on the TKO board. So now he's more lenient to do whatever he wants to do. But
I think about it for a second. He kind of missed the boat with the Bloodline Civil War thing, though. So do you just rehash the Civil War?
Sure, somehow. Rehash it. But make sure that Roman Reigns is the one that gets to feel everything that he has done to, all of his cousins.
So you think Rock stays heel?
Rock stays heel. But there's so many different ways that this can go. So many different scenarios. It just depends on The Rock, whether if he wants to wrestle up until SummerSlam or whatever, then he needs to do something crazy. After WrestleMania, turn his back on Roman Reigns. Right.
I guess I just look at it like a realistic, like pessimistic more so. It's just, again, they've jumped the shark with this Bloodline story, so I just don't trust them. It more so because they made it obvious that they're just, going along as they they're making it up as they go. They're winging it.
That's what I'm saying. The best part about this is, for the first time in a long time, I don't give a damn if it's Dave Meltzer or his grandfather in the grave. Ain't nobody's able to tell what's going on. For the first time ever that they are making this on the fly. And I am in for the ride. Guess who's tuning in Monday Night Raw? I am. Guess who's tuning in Friday Night Smackdown? I am. Guess who's waking up 4 o'clock in the morning watching Chamber? Even though The Rock's not going to come out, but they're still having a Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins segment? I am. I am in for the ride.
I think it's time. There's a time and a place for that though. I think like when like my favorite moment other than CM Punk coming back last year was when Jey Uso and when Jay and Jimmy beat Roman and Solo. Like that made me feel like a kid again watching wrestling because I didn't see that coming. I never thought that Jay would be the one to pin Roman, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like WrestleMania 39, like when the story is obvious and when the outcome is what's needed to happen, I think there's a time where you do the unpredictable and there's times where you don't. And
Right.
in this instance, I think you do the predictable. I think you do what's right. I think you get what you need out of it because I feel
How,
like you've held everybody back for so long. I feel like in a perfect world this year should be Cody Rhodes versus Gunther.
well,
In a
how about
perfect world.
you do the predictable, which is letting Cody Rhodes win, letting
And
him
that's what I'm
finish the
saying.
story. But
That's what
other
I'm
than
saying.
that,
Yeah.
do everything unpredictable. With the Bloodline story,
So
especially.
like, all right, so I would love to see a heel run from the only problem I would have with a heel run from The Rock and a face Roman.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if a face Roman can hold his own against The Rock. I don't know about that. Like on the mic
He would
and
have to be betrayed. He would have to be betrayed on TV by his cousins because what we need to see for that to happen is the same thing that happened to Jey Uso. The same thing happened to Sami Zayn and everybody else. You know,
so we
the
have to feel bad for Roman.
yeah, a lot of bad shit has to happen. I mean, the downfall. I mean, he has been on top of the food chain. Since The Rock is back, he needs to be down in the ground. He needs to
Yeah.
see this downfall. In order
Ooh.
for you to be a babyface, you need to see, you have to go through adversity.
I want Cody to win clean in a worse way. But so you have Cody win clean, but on the next night, that's when you have the bloodline betray Roman.
Yeah.
Because
Like I said, the
that,
best part is like we don't know what's gonna happen. Like it can
yeah,
go so many ways. But that's the scenario that I would love to see. The Rock being in control, and you can already tell, dude. In the next few weeks, can you imagine The Rock being backstage, calling all the shots, and creating some sort of jealousy? Imagine The Rock's like telling him what to do, blah 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 blah, and he's just gonna, like he's gonna be right back. And then Roman Reigns like gives a side eye to Jimmy Uso. You hear that? You hear that? How he's calling the
See,
shots or something? Like imagine that, creating some sort of heat. That would be
so do you still
spicy.
think we get Jimmy versus Jay? Because I'm trying to figure out, like, okay,
100%.
so
100%.
so does Jimmy still do this weird, like, goofy gimmick for the next year? Like, I think, like, because we all love Jimmy, but it's like, okay, what are you doing though?
Uh
So is
looks
he
like
just?
Jay needs this match more than Jimmy. But honestly,
Oh, for sure.
this match it needs to happen. Just needs to happen, one and done. But his part of Bloodline is very important right now at this point, being that guy,
Because the
being
way I
their little
always
cousin.
saw it was like somehow they rekindle after that. Like that match, they have that match, and it's not like a Matt Hardy and a Jeff Hardy where the feud continues after that. Like they get
Yep.
that one match and it's
Mm-hmm.
over.
Yeah.
But I also think if we're doing that, if we're doing the Roman gets betrayed story,
Mm-hmm.
that is up Jimmy's alley because he'll jump off the sinking ship. That's
Yeah.
like that's Jimmy right there. That makes sense for Jimmy. But like so the solo, but like, and that's where it's just like, okay, like we're not even at WrestleMania. We're not even at Elimination Chamber yet. We're like trying to fantasy book
Yeah,
the
we're fantasy booking right
WrestleMania.
now.
Yeah.
But like I said, the best part is they probably only booked this like maybe a week or two in future.
Yeah.
They're booking it on the fly,
Yeah.
But makes it so
That's what scares
interesting
me.
right now, man.
And it seems like they're doing Paul Heyman with Braun Breaker, which I'm not a fan of. So it's like,
Paul
all
Heyman,
right,
Braun
so
Breaker? Oh,
yeah,
what?
that's they teased it. They teased it on SmackDown.
Mm.
I don't know if it was I'm pretty sure it was SmackDown. They teased that, and I'm sure it will work great for Braun, but
Mm-hmm.
I think Paul got a lot on unfinished business with Bloodline. I mean,
Right.
Cody did say when he lose that title, Paul becomes an advocate again, and
You're right.
Solo. Forget what he said about
You
Solo,
are
but
absolutely right.
so I don't know. It's so many ways and directions. As long as I get the desired outcome of Cody, I'm in for the ride with the Bloodline.
You gotta remember, man. WrestleMania is not about just creating big moments as far as like letting your biggest baby face win the championship. It's also about creating the biggest shock factor. I mean,
Yeah.
we need that shock factor. We haven't had a shock factor since how long?
I
When
would
was the
say
last
39 was definitely a shock factor.
39?
Yeah, I didn't
Cody
want to
Rhodes
watch.
losing to Roman Reigns? Shock factor?
I was I couldn't
I
like
mean,
I
I
didn't
was
have
on
a
the edge of my
witness.
seats, but it
I didn't
wasn't
have
a
a witness, but I was genuine like up until the screen went black. I was thinking like, okay, they're about to do a reverse Dusty Rhodes finish where the ref like
You call that a
restart the match.
shock factor. I call it shock
I was
factor.
shocked.
WrestleMania moments are Undertaker losing the streak.
Mhm.
Let's say Seth Rollins winning the WWE Championship.
Would you
When he
consider?
cashes in.
Would you
What?
consider the Miz beating John Cena shock factor?
No,
No.
no. That's
So
definitely not
you're
a
saying
shock
like a
factor.
plot twist?
So it has to be like a main event worthy. Undertaker is a different exception because he's a main event
They built
worthy,
that up for
and
like 20.
not to mention his streak was main event worthy.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels' history getting in, not streak, sorry, his career getting ended at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Ric Flair's career at WrestleMania. But yeah, those are some of the most shocking moments. What I would love to see is some sort of swerve at WrestleMania. If they're really going to end this, if The Rock's not having any more matches up until next year, have him cost. Have him cost. Have him be done with Roman Reigns and his BS and the Bloodline just like that. Just cause a massive disruption in the Bloodline. I think that would be the best thing to do
And
if and
here's
only The
and
Rock is
here's the
not going to be
part
back.
and here's the part where we play 4D chess because I don't know if you peeped it, but Cody's definitely getting a little cocky. Like when
D-
he had
Excuse
Samantha,
me.
like I think Cody can definitely turn heel during his title reign, and like
Well,
you play that
di-
up in
didn't
that.
didn't I mention this like a couple of months ago and everybody shot me down with this idea. I mentioned this while back that what would be the craziest swerve and a shocking moment be is The Rock aligning himself with Cody Rhodes and actually taking everything away from Roman Reigns. That's exactly what he said in that promo. I am going to take everything from you. The
I
only
don't have a
mess.
pro. I don't have a. I just don't want them like walking out together, like walking out of Mania together, like Vince and Stone Cold at Mania 17. I just don't want that.
I don't think it will be a walkout. It'll be like turning heel, and maybe
Mhm.
even Paul Heyman align. I think Paul
I want a
Heyman aligning
gradual one
himself
though.
with Cody Rhodes will be pretty cool.
Do you ever you seen Spider-Man 3, right, with Toby?
Yeah.
Like if like how he just slowly just got like turned into a jerk. I
Mm-hmm.
want to see that with Cody, like how like like the thing about the Bloodline story that I was like holding on to, like
Mm-hmm.
when Jimmy alluded to it, like being the top guy changes you, and I didn't
Yeah.
want to see that with you and Jay. Like he didn't want to see that happen to Jay. I want to
Yeah.
see that happen to Cody, like kind of
And
like Venom, like titles
the
like Venom, where it
the
turns you
only
heel.
thing is that now that I talk about this, it doesn't feel realistic though that's gonna happen because this is what Cody's third year in WWE back again.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had a babyface run with the championship, right? I just don't see it happening. I think it
Ah,
would be a cool moment just having The Rock swerve and take away, help out Cody Rhodes, but not aligning himself and let Cody still be the face, if that makes any sense.
He's already Homelander. Like he just got to play into it. Like that's what we thought he was doing it
What the hell?
in
Somebody said I need to
AEW.
kiss you.
And that's a yeah, that's finishing the story right there. If we
See,
being
Alex
honest.
Gemini said, Cody Rhodes aligning with Paul Heyman will be unreal. That's what I'm saying. Think about a shock factor. A shock factor, when I mentioned 2 months ago when The Rock wasn't in the picture. What did I say? I said, like, how he's going to cause disruption within the bloodline. And how he's aligning himself with Jey Uso, maybe he can sneak in some information with Jimmy. And, after when Jimmy loses a match to Jey, Jimmy gets buddies with his brother back again. They're back together in this picture the night before WrestleMania, before the main event, before the night
You just
2.
don't want to
And
jump the
then,
shark again, though. That's the only problem.
no, they ain't not going to be any jump start. But it's going to be where, hey, Cody
Like
Rhodes, he's aligned himself with Paul Heyman. And he's become the bad guy. He's taken everything away from Roman Reigns, which is his family, his tribal chief place, and everything, which is not, place to be.
I always thought it would be Jimmy who would cost Roman the title, but now that The Rock is in there, it can't be Paul either, because we've already seen that with Paul and Brock Lesnar, where they kind of just like he left the bloodline for a minute. And
I think right now this is all crazy talk that we just talked about. I don't think Cody Rhodes is turning heel. I don't think Paul Heyman's going to align with Cody Rhodes. None of that. But what we talked about previously, with The Rock causing some heat, some drama within the bloodline where he can turn, vice versa, that is the only possibility that is happening at WrestleMania.
Do you see any instance where The Rock may not even be in the main event at all? Like, what if he manipulates the family and like nobody walks to the ring with Roman?
Yeah, he can. Well, nobody else needs to be with Roman.
Right,
Other than The Rock and Paul Heyman. That's it.
Yeah.
But
There's so many ways to go about it. I think the
so
best
many
way to
ways.
go.
That is the only thing, dude. Like, this can go so many different ways. Endless possibilities for this match to go down as a really good match. And on top of that, Cody Rhodes can walk out as a champion.
Do you think we ruin wrestling for ourselves when we do stuff like this?
What do you mean? Talking about this?
Like when we fantasy book it and we say what they should do and how things should be, or what it, like, instead of just watching.
I don't. Those are your smart marks or whatever you want to call them, acting like that they know everything about this business. Hell, I don't know everything about this business. I'm just in for the ride. I enjoy watching wrestling. I don't belittle any of the other branding. I don't say oh, that brand is garbage. I don't say nasty things about the other brand either. I'm just a genuine, humble wrestling fan. I'm in for all the wrestlers, okay? Because I know they're working hard throughout the whole year. There's no off season for them. I'm glad to be a wrestling fan. That's it. Period.
I fell in love with wrestling because of the stories. Like, one of my favorite wrestlers, I'm not sure if this is the same for you anymore, but Shawn Michaels, he could tell a story in a ring. And it just, I feel like that's kind of get lost. I feel like that's what brings people back. That's what I feel like that's what sells ticket stories more than wrestling.
For those complaining about The Rock being back in the picture and causing all the drama. Well, right now, he's okay. He's in a good position. But for the people to be initially complaining about The Rock, just letting you know, him being in this picture helps out other wrestlers. Financially, the star power, and everything. 100,000%. The Rock has how many followers compared to Cody Rhodes?
But who is he interacting with, though? Other than the bloodline and Cody.
No, but let's say if he tweets about somebody and Cody is involved. I mean, the pay-per-view. Well, there is no pay-per-view, but in the other country there is pay-per-view battle rate. But it causes a attraction, so everybody gets their eyes on the product. More and more people are watching it. The ratings are high. The crowds are sold out. The events. So yeah, it helps. The Rock being in the picture, it helps the smaller people. Imagine Alba Fire, one of the tag team girls, right? She had a match. What? 20 minutes before The Rock came out? The same show. So for the people who are tuning in, the person who hasn't watched wrestling in 20 years, or maybe 10 years ago because they watched The Rock and John Cena, and they're tuning in again, one more time, they're watching this product, and they're like, you know what? I'm digging wrestling. I'm actually going to tune in every week and watch Alba Fire and that hot-ass chick with a big butt. I want to know what's her name. I want to see what's her Instagram. I want to see what she does. I want to know what her family's all about. And that's how they get the followers. That's how they get following about wrestling, period.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
how the product works.
I'm only me, so I can't speak for anyone else. But speaking from my experience, I think the only way I could relate it was like when CM Punk went to AEW and all the people he put me onto. But unless he interacted with them, it didn't because I think about people he did interact with, like Orange Cassidy. But like you already heard about Orange Cassidy, like through memes and stuff like that. So I only paid attention to the people he interacted with, and for so long over like the past 13 14 years, when The Rock came back, it's usually to embarrass somebody. So I see what you mean by like it does bring more eyes to the product, even though WWE was being sold out, like the WrestleMania was sold out before Rock. I know what you mean though, because I have seen this get more mainstream pickup, but it seems like even then the people who are talking about it are talking about Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, who are already getting that exposure in the first place.
I know for a fact, 100,000%, that The Rock showing up helps a product. Doesn't matter if it was already going to be sold out or not. But your other people who don't watch the product, who are just now tuning in because The Rock is back, they raise questions. They ask questions. Your videos that go viral on TikTok or YouTube or whatever. So I work in public. Yeah. And sometimes I wear wrestling shirts. I talk to a lot of people about wrestling and stuff. And there's been 2 occasions in the last few weeks, the question has been raised and it's been brought to my attention. So yeah, I watched this video on TikTok or whatever, and The Rock was getting booed. What was that about? And those are the people that don't watch wrestling. That's how they've gotten eyes on this product. Oh, but yeah, I've seen this guy, Cody Rhodes. Everybody's talking about Cody Rhodes right now. What is going on? And I give them a rundown and I tell them a quick little short story. Cody Rhodes is this guy. His dad was this guy. His dad held the championship. It was taken away. And Cody Rhodes, he came back 2-3 years ago. He's a hard worker. He's a blue collar. Yeah. And he is very humble. His story is as legit as it can get. Real story. But nothing.
Do you think those people are going to stay after Rock leaves?
You might have new fans. You got new fans tuning into a weekly show. Oh, I talked to another guy at work. He showed up wearing the new Drew McIntyre shirt. So I had a conversation with him. The new CM Punk shirt. I was like, I just chuckled. I was like, that's funny. I was like, I got to give you props on that. I was like, how long you been? I was like, you've been watching it? I was like, I just want to know, like, how long have you been watching it? Are you a casual fan? And you know what the dude tells me? Get ready for this. He's only been watching the product for 2.5 months or so. That's it. Never ever watched WWE ever. He said.
To be fair, though, that was before The Rock came back, right?
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was. He said, what did he say that turned him on? It was something. But The
If
thing
it was
is that
20
wrestling has
months,
been getting hot anyways. It's been a great product.
yeah,
Their numbers are high, all time high right now. They're breaking records. I mean, you ever notice throughout the whole year? I mean, 2023 was great. After WrestleMania, the first PLE was what,
it's
Backlash?
the most.
It was in
They
Puerto
say it's the
Rico.
most popular since the Attitude Era. I
Yeah,
think even more.
it is 100%, dude. They're performing all around the world. They went to India. They went to fucking Europe. They're everywhere. I mean, I know they go to Europe twice a year, anyways. But they're everywhere. I mean, they have been going everywhere. Triple H had this one goal in mind, which I don't know if he's still going to or not. He said that he wants WWE to be so big. He wants an NXT show out of every continent. That's
Yeah, I
his
remember
goal.
that.
That's his
I think
goal.
the last I heard, they were like working on NXT Africa or something.
Hmm.
I don't know why that's necessarily
They
going.
want their superstars, because if you think about it, right? And I'm not being racist here or anything. There was a study that came out. You know, when you think about United States or whatever, you think about white and the black people.
Yeah.
Eventually, there was a study came out. By 2050, the people aren't gonna look white or black. They're gonna look mixed.
Mm-hmm.
And WWE's goal is to be very diverse, and they're already diverse, right?
Yeah.
So their goal is to expand in all the territories with all kinds of different people all around the world and gather eyes, because WWE is like the only sport that is getting watched by every continent. I mean, you have your people who like NFL, which is only popular in the United States, and maybe some in Europe because you have a couple of London games.
Yeah.
But then you have soccer, which is mainly popular. Where? Europe. Well, and some other continents as well. Then you have cricket, which is popular in other continents, but not popular in the United States. So you see, like, there's so many other sports. It's only popular in certain areas, but WWE is like the only sports that's popular every fucking where, all around
Yeah,
the
I
world.
think of like when you think of like AEW and Wembley, I don't think they can do that in the United States.
No.
I think wrestling is just gonna be that. I think I know it's gaining more popularity, and we're in a boom period for wrestling now.
Yeah.
Um,
We're
I
definitely in
I
a boom period. Yeah.
I wonder why that is.
Hmm.
Um,
So
it's I,
yeah.
I think we need. I think it comes down to like I think Roman Reigns plays a part in that. I think AEW plays a part in that, having some competition. But
Having some competition, yeah. I mean, that's helping. I don't think it's that. I think
you
it's
don't
what the story is. No. I mean,
you don't.
competition has a little to do with it,
Mhm.
but I don't think AEW is as big as you think.
No,
Um,
I don't think it's that big. I know it's definitely big, like outside of United States, because they cater to foreign wrestling
mhm.
styles.
Mhm.
But when I say like if we bring it up, people we've talked to, my cousin, I grew up. He used to like clown me for liking wrestling. Like, Money in the Bank ain't real. It ain't actually money in there. Like, stuff like that, comments like that. And he was like, man, I want to watch that AEW. It seemed like, ironically enough, he said, it seemed like they be really hitting on there and stuff. Like, I think it's
What are you
gymnastics.
talking about? They bought
Right. That's why I was
more
like,
than
I told him,
anybody
like,
else, dude.
yeah.
But
So I think it's I always say, I'll be telling my viewers, like, without AEW, CM Punk doesn't come back to WWE. And it,
mhm.
I, well,
You're right
I
about
think
that. 100%.
yeah, and I think we talked about it. Um, I think the AEW viewers are so much different than
They are. They
WWE
are.
viewers.
They
And
are.
maybe in a weird way, those people going away has helped WWE viewers kind of enjoy the product more. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but it's something
Look,
there, man.
all I'm
It's
gonna
definitely
say is this. I know an hour is coming up on the stream, but I want y'all to look at a bigger picture. WWE decides what they want to do at next year's Mania, they draw like a big picture plan and like bulletin board, and they need to create bigger stars for their upcoming next 7 to 8 years or so. There's only certain wrestlers that can do or perform in ring for so many years, because they take so many bumps. So they want to be able to create stars. They're as big as your Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, your John Cena, and Roman Reigns. So Roman's time is eventually coming up, and like he said, and like Brock Lesnar said in a interview, they both said the same thing. Well, we're in the main event. We're putting asses in the seats. We don't see anybody else doing it. I don't see why they're complaining about it, because we're the title holders and we're putting asses in the seats, and that's the bottom line. Because they put they put asses in the seats at WrestleMania. They draw a lot of attention. They sell a lot of merch. They need to create bigger stars for upcoming years. Cody Rhodes is definitely that. But you just don't need one star. You need multiple bigger stars.
Yeah.
And in order to create that, sometimes you have to look at a bigger picture. So maybe Bloodline is not going to end. Sometimes you need Bloodline, because their story has been told for the last, how many WrestleManias? Like 3?
It's 36. No, 37.
It has been stretched, but it's been good. And 2022 to 2023 peaked with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and when Jimmy and Jay split up. I think that's when it really sparked. But with The Rock being in the picture, they got a lot more story to tell. Oh, what's this? A bottle of your lotion? Just, it's out? You want to throw it away? Hold on, wait a second. Let me just smack it just a few more times. Here comes a big gulp of more lotion coming out of your bottle. I mean, that's a bad way to put it, but, you get the picture. Yeah. But yeah, man, that's all I wanted to say. My voice is getting tired right now. I think I'm done for today. But
if I could say one last thing.
Go ahead.
What to your point where they need to make stars? I think unfortunately they have leaned like over the past 10 years. They've been so focused on trying to build up Roman Reigns, and they finally did it by just letting him be himself. And they have made stars as a byproduct of it, but I do think the only people who have gained from this Bloodline story has been people in the Bloodline. I think everybody else has.
What about Cody Rhodes?
I mean, if you can count that, but I don't think they did that on purpose. Like I think that's more of sort of like. I don't think they did that on purpose. I don't think they made him a bigger star on purpose.
Yeah, they did.
I don't know. I think
being in the main event with Tribal Chief.
Yeah, but it's also like I don't think that helped. Let's say I don't think it helped Kevin Owens become more popular. I think he's kind of been. Kevin Owens was Kevin Owens before the Bloodline and after.
I'm gonna tell you a story about Kevin Owens. About how many years ago? 2 years ago. When his contract was coming up, there was a speculation how unhappy he was, and how everybody blew up on the internet saying, "Oh, he should leave the company. They treat him like crap. He has not been able to do anything. Vince is running him to the ground. He's not going to be able to be successful and everything, blah, 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 blah." And then guess what? He signs the contract for $3 million. For 3 years, I think? I could be wrong. I don't know the exact number. Anyways.
I don't think his contract's coming up.
So why did Kevin Owens sign this contract? And guess what? This guy had a WrestleMania main event match with the one and only Stone Cold Steve Austin. Who the fuck was able to do that with Stone Cold Steve Austin since he retired in 2003? Only one man. You have to be the most luckiest man alive to be alive to be able to face Stone Cold Steve Austin in the main event of WrestleMania. My life is completed as Kevin Owens. I have no more regrets. And what's the other? Oh, not to mention the Bloodline storyline. And Sami Zayn. I think he was in the same boat.
That's what I'm saying.
Sami
He was
Zayn
in
had
the
a great
Bloodline,
run.
though.
Yeah,
He
Sami
was
Zayn
in
had
the-
a great run. He had a match with fucking who? Steve-O. No, not Steve-O. Sorry.
Johnny Knox.
Johnny Knoxville. And one of the craziest, amazing entertainment matches ever I've seen.
That was before the Bloodline, though.
Yeah, I mean that was at WrestleMania, but yeah, still.
Yeah. What my point is like for everybody other than the people who's been in the Bloodline, like who's you could throw Kevin Owens in there, and I give you Cody Rhodes, but I think it's hurt. Drew McIntyre. I think that's the reason Edge is in AEW right now. It's the reason Cesaro's in AEW
Edge
right
just
now.
wanted to wrestle. He just wanted to go out weekly. He as a wrestler, you get this high chasing whatever you want to do, like just continue to wrestle, right?
I think if you gave him that world title that Seth has, he would have stayed.
Yeah.
So, and even then, that world title wouldn't have needed to be invented if Brock and Roman didn't combine the titles for some reason.
They just didn't have anything for him. I mean, that was it. So
yeah, and they're super safe, like the same reason Bryan Danielson left as well.
Yeah.
They're just super, which I think is the right thing to do. Like, be, taking care of these guys and protecting them from themselves, because as we've seen, I think Edge just took a concerto last week on AEW. Which I think is, if anybody can be safe with it, it's Christian. But you don't want to see Edge taking concertos at this age.
WWE Fresno trending? Oh, are they doing a house show? Yeah, they're doing a house show right now.
But I
they're
think
saying Save Mart Center is packed for tonight. WWE Fresno, most people I've ever seen since 2018. It does look packed for a house show. Wow.
Yeah, they sold out. Well, I think that was more so due to Punk, but they sold out Madison Square Garden with a house show.
Oh, I'm not worried about Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden has like premium matches set up for that event, and not to mention they have all the superstars show up.
Punk's first match.
Most of the times, yeah. It just takes them. It costs them more money to set up Madison Square Garden. I think that's the reason why they don't set up main shows at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. But to finish your point, what you were saying with these stars, they got stars. They just gotta stop being afraid to pull the trigger with them. I do think this. Luckily, they got lucky with Cody Rhodes and the fans still having his back. But when you think about like Solo going 0-23 since beating John Cena, when you think about Austin Theory, like how they failed to follow up on him beating John Cena, and they got the Carmelo Hayes and the Trick Williams. They got these stars who coming up. Braun Breaker is going to let us know a lot about Triple H's booking.
Mm-hmm.
So they got all the potential in the world, and I'm not sure why this boom period is what it is, but they got to take advantage of it. They will.
They got this. Yeah, Roman's gonna go out, I'm sure, in the next few years, and we just got new upcoming stars coming in. Yeah. Seth Rollins is probably gonna be a next part-timer. It wouldn't surprise me.
Needs to.
Yeah. But yeah, we can talk about Seth. What's funny is that we didn't talk about Seth Rollins at all. But let's wait. Let's see what happens upcoming Monday Night Raw, and we can talk about Seth Rollins then. Okay?
Oh, got you. All right.
Yeah. Alrighty, folks. Well, that is it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys probably after Monday Night Raw sometime. Could be on Wednesday or maybe even Tuesday night. Until then, peace soup. Bye-bye. Good night.